Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my channel, MaryAnne's Mystic Mentions, and your daily Sun Sign Love Connection readings. I hope the camera looks okay. It's a little different on my end, but thumbs up, it's working. So, welcome to my Sun Sign Love Connection reading. New and returning, I appreciate every one of you. And I'm going to be reading for the beautiful featured sign of Taurus today. So, for July, first of the month readings. Now, what that means basically is I read, for those that are new, I have a format and I read for 2 sun signs every single day. One being the featured, and that's the, that has the focus of the reading on. And then I pick a highlight right in front of you. The highlighted is a relationship of love of any type, any form, hence love connection readings. And some of you will be very connected and resonate with this particular highlighted connection, and some will say not so much. But I do have other messages for every single Taurus, for today being the featured sign, and every one of your connections, so that everybody gets a reading. And every sign of the zodiac gets 2 readings, the beginning of the month and the mid-month readings. So let's get going here. I want to say today is July 2nd. Happy July. Happy 4th of July weekend. A lot of you are probably en route to your getaway and destination and fun time and family gatherings, which is perfect because we're in Cancer season and it's heart-centered and it's about being around the people we love, and that really make us feel happy and fulfillment in our life, in our hearts and such. The water element of sensitivity and caring and nurturing, family, familiarity. And we certainly couldn't do that last year, so it's a really especially exciting year for so many people. I'll be home. I'm not going anywhere. Got readings to do, though you can do them most places. And I do work, and my work is picking up. And so that's why I'm doing this a little later today. So I'm going to get through this and go back out again. I have a split shift, as it were. So we're going to pick the highlighted connection right in front of you. And I really am feeling extremely good about so many things. I do want to put out a prayer to all of the states and places that are dealing with extreme hot weather right now. I mean, we had a minor heat wave 3 weeks ago now where it was in the 90s, and that's hot and it was uncomfortable. But well, I do a distant healing Reiki energy healing every morning during my meditation to every single city, state, country in the world, basically. So I care very much. I want it to be felt on some level, and the more of us that of course do that, then of course that changes the whole energy and the consciousness, which I want to be a part of. That's why I decided to do Reiki healing like 15 years ago now. So any little bit helps, right? It's all about love. So let me pick your highlighted connection for you, beautiful Taurus. And it's Gemini. I'm telling you, I'm almost positive it was last month, but you know what? I'm a channel for you. I'm just working with spirit, which is one of my favorite, most passionate things to do. And I love this for you anyway, because I see it all the time in combinations with people that are friends, whether it's in your family or work situations. Definitely love relationships. My own family had, my mother and stepfather were of this combination. Yeah, it's a good one. The thing is, Taurus, is that you're very, you're an earth element. You're very grounded. You're very practical, very reliable, resourceful. I mean, you are known as the money sign. You're ruled by Venus. Now, I too am ruled by Venus. I'm a Libra, but you're the earth sign that's ruled by Venus. And Venus is, wow, Venus is so powerful. I mean, it doesn't matter what sign it's in, because everybody, when Venus goes in your sign, like right now it's in the sign of Leo, and that's all about passion and heart. That's about physicality. That's about true love, okay? And really affectionate kind of energy happening now in the midst of the heart-centered, season of Cancer, where it's all about heart and feeling and sensitivity and sensuality. And you know where I'm going with this. This is a beautiful time. No wonder people fall in love a lot during spring and summer, because this is a huge thing. It happens every year, and I mean, you gravitate when you've got the sun and you've got this energy, and you're able to get out like we are now, and you have your heart wanting to maybe continue with an important relationship on different levels, or maybe just start one, or even consider it, or sometimes they come smack dab out of nowhere because you're feeling so happy and good that you bring that into your energy level. It happens all the time. And so, yeah, you're a wonderful, wonderful sign, Taurus. I love you. I've known a lot of Tauruses, and if I really want to know that there's somebody that's going to be loyal and that I can rely on, and you know, you're going to be steadfast, you are a fixed sign, it's going to be you, Taurus. And I really like that. And then there's Gemini, you're highlighted for today, and there's always this attraction because Gemini's kind of like the polar opposite of you. Gemini's an air sign. Gemini's all about the mind and you know, expansion of thinking and words and creating and speaking and conversing, and I always say networking and getting out. They're a mutable sign. They're here, there, they're everywhere. Their energy is quite changeable. They have the duality of the twins, you know, and so they're here and there and up and down, and you're very grounded, and you can handle that. I think more than most. I think earth signs are really good at keeping other signs that tend to be, whoo, you know, up and moving and all over the place. Sometimes you're able to just kind of curtail that a little bit. And at the same time, sometimes you can be a little bit stuck on your ideas, maybe not really wanting to change that much, and that Gemini energy will come and just stir it up and give you excitement and think, yeah, that'd be kind of fun. And they really kind of egg you on, if you will, and then you're just, it's just fun, and it's nice to do things that are different and to accept and recognize the changes and differences in other people, or I should say just the differences, and you know, and kind of really obviously appreciate that. And that's what you get with this couple a lot of times. So, and then also Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is officially stationed forward a week and a half ago or so, but it's not quite out of the shadow period. I mean, I'm still stumbling on my words, which, yeah, I do it anyway, but it's really a lot more during the retrograde, even at the beginning, right at the start of the shadow period. So the end of the shadow period will be, I think, the 7th of July. So things are moving, the dust is clearing, the energy is coming back, the mind is more clarity, there's more clarity, more understanding. And that's really good because Gemini needs that. That's what they base a lot of their ability to work and thrive and their life on, you know. And so you might be noticing that in a really positive way. You might be discussing about these wonderful times and going on vacation right now because that's the time it is. If you don't go this week or next week, you're planning it though, you know, the long-term, let's make this happen, let's cement this down, let's plant that seed, you know, as it were, as an earth sign. So let's read to you these beautiful 3 major categories I like to read for this highlighted connection. And I always like to change my decks, and so I've changed it for the beginning of July month, first half of the month, to this beautiful deck called the Queen of Tarot decks, because the Queen is the most mature in the court other than the King. It doesn't necessarily matter the gender, but what it matters is that it's more focused on the feminine side of any person, because we each have feminine and masculine dualities within us. It's beautiful to have and be in touch with that in each one, and have it be as balanced as possible, which what I would imagine is a big thing for Gemini, being that duality, almost, you know, trying to see both sides of that and be able to focus on that and make that happen and understand your perspective from feminine or masculine point of view type of thing. So I like that a lot. And so, yeah, queens are more about internalizing. The feminine qualities tend to be when we're more intuitive and in touch with that, which you are very much anyway, Taurus. You are a very sensual sign, having Venus as your ruling planet. That's the sign of, well, certainly love and sensuality and beautiful magical gifts and music and money and, you know, just aesthetically wanting to be around things that are pretty and feel good. And I know for myself, and it's unfortunate in some ways, but it's okay, I get actually kind of ill when I'm around places that are really askew and just kind of really worn down and run down. You're like, oh gosh, you know, can we put a can of paint or something? Or, you know, I want to naturally fix that. And that's, I think, how you feel as well. So, and you can do that relatively inexpensively, and things can be worked on. That's kind of a natural gift of the many that you have, Taurus. So I see that as being a part of this reading. We'll see what the messages are coming through. But the first category is always the overall energy bringing you to this reading for the fresh month of July. And you have, with your highlighted, of course, Gemini, you have, I don't know, this is a newer deck, but I love it. They're so beautifully illustrated, such intricacy. Oh, the Eight of Swords. Okay, so here you go. The Eight of Swords. The swords are the mind. The swords are the air signs. They are the Gemini. So, in true form, with many air signs, we can and have been known to really focus on our thoughts to a point of real, utter self discontent, confinement, and worry and concern over things we don't necessarily really even have a clue what the outcome will be. We're only basing it on maybe past experiences, which I think a lot of us do. It's a common thing to do. I certainly do it, and I try not to, but it still creeps in there. So what's interesting about the Eight of Swords is that it's really self-made prophecies type of message. It's about knowing, and if you look, I hope it's not cloudy or blurry, you can see that this person, and the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, my very first deck 30-something years ago, shows that you can get out of this bondage, and these swords are not actually in any way barring or keeping or fencing or, confining this person in the picture whatsoever. It's in our mind, I mean, and as soon as we really recognize that, and hopefully this message alone will help a lot of you to go, it's so true. Take that deep breath. Can't even talk. See, it's crazy. Just taking that breath and getting into nature and listening to this wonderful calming influence that the Taurus has, where they do think, don't get me wrong, they do care, they get concerns, but they realize that, you can work through everything and it will pass. The air element messages usually are the quickest moving. Maybe this has already occurred, okay? You're coming into this reading, it's just happened from June. June was an interesting month, and it was, in fact, it was the end of your season, Gemini, so you might be still whirling from everything that came, and it was just so fast, and the Mercury retrograde was basically your whole month. So conversations were strange, and communication was stifled, and now it's not. So yeah, just be grateful for that and know that you can change your thoughts at any moment, and that'll change your outlook and your feeling, and it'll just bring a much more, harmonious kind of energy for everybody, involved. So that's the first one. Just be aware of what you're thinking. Your thoughts become things. They are absolutely energy. And so, okay, so that's good. It's just a heads up, right? That's a way to really kind of recognize the beautiful, guidance that Spirit really wants to give us and help us with, And then what we do with it is up to us, right? Second category is possible blessings or obstacles. So let's see what the narration is going to be, a narrative from this concern you had. So you have the Magician. Whoo, that's beautiful. Major Arcana, the Master, the card that represents each and every one of us on this journey called life, that has every tool we could possibly need to create and manifest and dream and imagine and think and expand and grow, and that's also up to us. So you can take those worries and put it in great energy towards what it is you really truly want, and nothing else. The focus there, now that Mercury retrograde is no longer in your sign, Gemini, and it's moving forward, and you feel like you have more momentum. And I will mention that we've had Mars and Venus in the sign of Leo. I mean, if that's not power and passion and love and determination and courage to go forward, I feel like I've had so much more energy in the last week when everything kind of changed into that realm of Leo energy, from Cancer to Leo with Mars and Venus, because I had to move my business, and that's a mind thing and a physical thing, and I had it, and I just took time to rest after, and it was a beautiful, smooth thing. You all can do this. Everybody can do this. It's really up to you, and know that you have everything you need. In this deck, it shows every single element: the swords, the wands, the water, the cups, and then the pentacles and whatnot. This is the time to just put forth whatever you're thinking and wanting. And mind you, Gemini, you did have the second eclipse of the two, on June 10th, which was in your sign as well. So the information is still coming through for the remainder of the year. So for the two of you, Taurus and Gemini, there's some really interesting and important messages that are still going to come through. And I know they're going to be positive because this magician most likely only wants that. And therefore, that's what you can bring in. That's what you can believe. And that's what you can achieve. So I love that. I would say that's a blessing, unless you don't utilize it, which is totally up to you. And I'm not sitting here to, judge in any way or anything, just reading the messages for you. Final category is that of finances. And it's important to know for all of us, and I know it is for you, Taurus, because you're really, really good at money. You're very good at planning. You're very good at managing money. You're usually known to amass great wealth at some point in your life, if that's what you choose to do. You master that very well as a magician. And it's very incredibly beautiful because it's about the luxuries and seen in tangible form and practical form as an earth sign, what it is you've worked so hard for. We'd like to see that once in a while, right? And so you have King of Swords, the mastery of the swords, the most mature, very familiar, hardworking, got to where they were because they put in the effort. And when it's the King of Swords, it had a lot to do with their mind and the way they thought about things and the way they communicated to others so that it worked in their favor, Having things be fair and just is a huge part of what the air element truly wants. And they will definitely speak truthful and straightforward sometimes. They will cut out people in their lives that are toxic and that are not to their best good. They generally, go for the underdog. They don't like to see people being treated unfairly. This could be definitely in regards to institutions like banks and, that do loans, government, all sorts of things. So I feel like some really important and pertinent news in regard to your finances is definitely already happened or will be happening because it's reached a point now where it's going to happen. It's not even like the page where it's new and you might be hearing it, little bits of information. That was in the last 2 months, right? That was the delays and the maybe not, and no, it's on. It's happening. And I hear it on the news as well. So it's really kind of beautiful and synchronistic with this reading. So you know what I love? I love how, it starts with the swords, it ends with the swords, and reminding you that we do have, Jupiter started this year in the sign of Aquarius as well as Saturn. And then we had Jupiter go retrograde into Pisces until the 28th of July for a short stint, just to give Pisces a little taste of what will happen for them when Jupiter is in their sign, predominance of next year. Saturn went into retrograde a week ago or so in Aquarius, maybe a little longer. And that's all about our constrictive energy, the planet that talks all about being, kind of confined and constricted and focused on something that has to happen in order for you to achieve. In other words, if you're going to start school and you've got like 2.5 years, which is about the time that Saturn will stay in each sign before moving. It's a relatively quick, not as quick as Mercury, but it's a relatively quick planet. And so during that time, you can have fun, you can plan, you can have wonderful manifestations, but it's still going to put a little bit of a damper on it just to keep you in line so that at the end of your studies, making sure you did all your homework, making sure you completed this course, the rewards are going to be incredible. And usually Saturn leaves that beautiful gift at the end of that time. And that's what we're in right now. When it's in, whether it's retrograde or not, meaning more internalizing of things and circumstances that are happening. When it's in Aquarius, it's going to be about our mind. It's about education. It's about information. It's about learning. It's about higher learning. It's about truth-seeking, helping others, community. Aquarius is all about working in a global sense, working with the world and having everybody have fair, rights and enough food and that sort of thing. It's a very kind and, what am I trying to say? Humanitarian sign known as the water barrier, but the water is actually information they want to share to better yourself, to be more independent. And we enter into Independence Day weekend, That feels wonderful. We need that again, right? We have not felt that way for some time now. Beautiful, beautiful information. We go from the Eight of like, oh, I'm concerned and I'm overthinking. Overthinking has a lot to do with the Eight of Wands, or Eight of Swords, excuse me. But clearing that out and saying, let's focus, let's stop for a minute, take those breaths, recognize my power in the Magician within me and all of us. Moving forward to navigating myself in exactly the way that I choose, and being very strong and successful and mature about it, no matter what age you are, and having a really great outcome. And help if necessary. You can always ask. This involves other institutions. It could be medical, it could be your health. Finances and wealth in your health is what I want to say, because that's essential. It is for me. And I think it is for a lot of people. They're realizing that more and more. So that's a beautiful, positive, wonderful reading for this highlighted connection. I am going to add and finish with the runes that I like to use as like the cherry on the sundae. I put it on the second category, which is the possible blessing or obstacles rune. And I'm going to show it to you. I don't know that you can see this. It's a beautiful amethyst rune, and it's all about warding off toxic energies. And if you ever want to get one and put it in your pocket and keep it there, I'm going to have a link at some point in not too distant future as part of the new transformation for me to be able to have you buy some beautiful, crystals and gems that I have a sponsor with, which I'm over the moon excited about. But I'll get back to you more on that. This is beautiful. These runes are amazing. I love runes. I've always been interested, and now I want to study and learn them verbatim. But right now I'm still at the beginning stages. So I'll let you know what this symbol means, what the words and time associated with that rune is exactly. In regards, there's that. See, the Mercury retrograde is far from completely over for me. See where it fits in and how it synchronizes with your reading, because it's been doing that quite a bit lately. So the picture on the back shows that your rune is Athila. And wait, am I right about that? I've done this before. Athila looks more like a fish. And yours is actually not. I apologize. There's two. It's interesting. There's NG and GN. Ignas. So I'm just picking the one. It must be the NG. And I'm going to go inside. I've only done that one other time. The number is actually 22, which is a master number. And when you put 22 together, it's 2 plus 2. It's a 4. And 4 is about stability. It is the most stable, grounded, Taurus, happy, successful, abundant number in the numerology. So it's a beautiful, beautiful part to what is trying to be said, which on the Magician is really wonderful. So you can create this type of life for yourself. And yeah, you have to put effort, even if it's just being in your room and believing and feeling that energy and having it come forth towards you. That's a big thing too. We actually have, like I said, Jupiter in Pisces. It's one of the most healing energies we have. And when it's in Pisces, it's very exalted. Jupiter's exalted in Pisces, and Pisces is all about love and caring and compassion. So those energies are being expanded, and it touches all of us right now, especially if you have water or Pisces in particular in your natal chart, because you're way more than just a sun sign. You've got 12 planets in your natal chart. You might want to look that up for free. It's beautiful to find out so much depth in each and every one of us. But so, yeah, I can see there just being this incredible aspect of healing, but also creativity is heightened. Your sense of intuition and ability to pick up and feel and really sense things is very strong right now, certainly through the end of the month. So what it says is for 22, let's go in here and see how they've done that with the 2 like that. Okay, well, it says either or. They both are under this category. So the word associated with NG or Ning, I don't even know if it's pronounced other than NG. I'll just say NG right now. Ning, hearth. So I think of the heart, that's the root word of that. And I think of like the comforts of our home, and that's certainly the emphasis of being in Cancer season. And just, just around people that you're familiar and you feel so comfortable and fulfilled emotionally, like I said earlier. And, you know, to be in front of the fireplace, which of course isn't right now, but you get the idea. Just that was one of the things that always stuck with me growing up, because we always had a fireplace. And so the time frame is actually May 15th through May 29th. So we've passed that time period, but guess what? That was Gemini season. So this is what I mean when I say the rune oracle for me, the divination is always really, since I started this, has been very, very much congruent and in sync with the readings. So I love that. But finally, I'll read to you the words associated with this rune in your reading. So what it is fertility. Oh, okay. So maybe you're concerned about whether or not you want that whole worrying, whether you want a child or a new child or another child and all that. You know, those are conversations that are really important, right? And then believing in the magic that when it's right, and divine intervention is always a part of that, trust me. And so, yeah, that's exciting. And then the finances are going to be stable enough, and, you know, the conversations will be had, and the important investments and such with this Taurus energy in this reading and the featured sign, it's all good, okay? Everything will be worked out exactly the way it needs to be. Fertility, construction, shelter, yield, good investments, a hidden relationship, pleasures, and luxury. Well, there you go, Taurus. I think it pretty much said that from the beginning. That is your key component as your element, your sign. Looks like you're very much in your energy right now. And the reading is certainly saying that. So that's beautiful. I am going to finish with some oracle messages for every single Taurus and every other relationship you may have. And what I was doing is I'm going to, okay, so I'll do this first. I'm going to read from the beautiful oracle that I really love. It's still fairly new, but it's the starseed oil. Let me try that again. I do use oils for my job as a therapist. Starseed oracle. And I pick it, and then I read to you the reading and the wording behind this, and the wisdom and the love and the inspiration, as I always say, for the oracles are incredible. So I hope that you'll feel this and maybe really understand at least a portion of what this message is for you specifically, Taurus, for the first part of the month of July, maybe even longer. Well, it says you're not alone. And it's so interesting, excuse me. The words associated are isolation, physical connection, and community. Well, that's not been all that accessible to people, has it? This is very, very interesting. And perhaps the Eight of Swords really represented the fact that you weren't able to communicate in the way you wanted. And, you know, Taurus and Gemini love to talk, honestly. I didn't say that, but you're known also, besides the money sign, Taurus, for the part of your body that you rule is your throat. You have an amazing voice a lot of times. You're great at, you know, maybe podcasts and radio and that sort of thing. I mean, amazingly notable voices, as well as singers and that sort of thing. Famous, you know, celebrities are under the sign of Taurus. So there's no coincidence. But maybe you were just really upset about how you wondered how long it would be before you could get out and connect. And here we are. We're at the point where you're able to. And it's got to feel great because you wanted it. You brought this along with that magician. So let me read to you what it says. But look at this card. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, we need connection as human beings. You know, we're spirit in a human body, and we just absolutely need that. And that was the thing I absolutely felt the most. I did what I could, but, you know, it was different. And now we're not in that. I want to focus on what we are in now. Let me read to you what it says for you, though, okay? For this beautiful, beautiful card, you are not alone. And of course, you know, I think of it as meaning that there's so much intervention and spiritual help with us at all times. So it should be in alphabetical order. Let me see what I can do for you. That would make it in the end. Should be just around the corner here. Because it has that, oh, here we go. Nope. Right before it, I hope? Yes. The older the soul, the deeper the cave. Many starseeds and old souls enjoy their own company. Spending time alone can be comforting and necessary for their vitality. I happen to be one of those people now. I never thought I would. I came from a huge family, and I love socializing, and I still do, because I do that every day with my clients, but I like time alone too. Interesting. You might be one of those Tauruses who are like that. Well, it says, yeah, for it's necessary for their vitality, as it allows them to commune with their soul and fill up their energetic resources, especially if they've had an underactive or open root chakra or find it hard being human. Many starseeds find it more nourishing to retreat than to spend their time in meaningless conversations and relationships. However, we must remember that we're not here to go about this life alone. Humans are pack animals, and we all need the love, company, and support of others, both emotionally and physically. And my gosh, you know, with this connection that a lot of you have with Gemini, you know that's going to be the case. So there's got to be something that brought you together. But that was them. We'll go on. In our increasingly online world, we can be connected to more people and yet feel more alone and isolated than ever. There's still so much we don't know about the energetic side effects of things like social media. With so many people knowing our news, what is it doing to our auric field? Interesting thought, you know? Commonly, we find ourselves in constant conversation, yet lacking the genuine connection of physical community and touch. I'm a hugger. The main message of this card is to step out of your cave and physically reach out to those in your life, to replenish when you need to, but not isolate yourself. This could be seeing friends and family who live nearby, or having a regular catch-up walk with someone. In what ways you can open yourself up to people who are physically in your life, those you truly know. And so your soul inquiry from this message is, how can you reach out to people in your physical life physically? And I think that's going to be found out, because we didn't have a chance for a long time. And I would go so far as to say that I was feeling agoraphobic. Like, you know, I'd always heard about that, where certain people have an actual illness where they can't leave their homes. And it's, you know, it can be worked through, but the less you do something, the less you do it, you know. And I thought, ooh, it feels weird being out here at first. It's like, I'm still kind of going through that a little bit, but it's getting better. To each his own. Everyone has their own time. There's no judgment. It ever should be, right? And that's where these beautiful friendships can come there to help balance and base, you know, that support for you. And I think that's what you're doing, quite frankly, Taurus. I think you're that person. And I love it. And I hope that that makes sense to you in some capacity. Now, I'm going to do this whole month. I brought in another very old deck of mine, but it's the Healing with the Angels deck. And basically, I just wanted to have this be the one message for the whole month, even past and through the mid-month readings. Because our angels are always there for us. I got an amazing book for Mother's Day that I'm reading about, because it talks about how you can connect with them more. And I'm all about that, and I love that. And sometimes I learned so much from this book out of all these years and reading different things. They come in different ways, you know. We need to be open to it, right? So for you, Taurus, and all of your loved ones, your special angelic message for this month, July, is celebration, baby. So yes, I'm sure you probably had a lot of that with last month's Gemini birthdays, and so many more to come, you know. I mean, life is one big celebration, and that's a really beautiful feel, and that's where the way I feel July will mostly be for all of us. Getting out and celebrating the simplest of things. Walking in nature. You know you love nature, Taurus. You're huge on nature, and I love so many friends that are earth signs at their gardens, and I learned so much. It's very inspirational. So yes, celebrate, man. Celebrate every single moment. And then I'll finish with this beautiful oracle that is the Super Attractor Manifestation Oracle before I have to head out. And I want to thank you again for taking the time. And whenever you watch this, it means a great deal to me. And thumbs up if you like it. Please let me know. A lot of times I'm watching, I've done it myself, or people watch and they like it, but they don't let me know. And it just feels great. And YouTube really wants that. So your final message. And this is about creating the life we want by bringing it into reality, by feeling it into reality, just making that last step, you know. And there's that beautiful root colored red and passion, which is also Leo influence right now. And its true manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all. Isn't that interesting? So we have this very clearly saying that, you know, manifesting is definitely about receiving, you know, allowing that receiving into your life, but what's best for all, because we all are connected. And that was really made ever so clear in this last year, more than I could ever remember in my lifetime. But also the fact that it very much ties in with this, you're not alone, you know. It is a global situation, boy, for each and every one of us. We all get affected by things happening in some way. So beautiful, beautiful reading. Very, very optimistic. I wish you the best always. You know, come on back for your mid-month reading, see where things are at that point, and if it's, you know, resonating more or, you know, less, or, you know, it just keeps going upward and onward. And I'm praying that's, of course, for all of us. So until next time, thank you again. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.